Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about how poor Inovio stock fell headfirst straight off a cliff today. This is very unfortunate, you guys. It's rare that I'll make a video like this, and I'm very sorry to any of you who may have been holding Inovio stock prior to this news being released, but the primary reason that I wanted to make this video today was to talk to you guys about what could happen, not only to the stock itself, but to this sector as a whole, when one of these companies working towards a vaccine hits a speed bump like this. In the past, we have covered what happens to the sector as a whole when a company releases great news, but unfortunately the case with Inovio today was that they saw some bad news, which of course we will get into, and the stock absolutely tanked. You can see here, we will look at the charts. Of course, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. Of course, we'll look at the charts. You can see this just brutal gap down here. This is a crazy gap, you guys, but again, gap down almost 40% on the day. Some crazy fluctuations over the course of the day, so we will look at the charts. I'll get technical with you guys, and of course, again, we have to understand the fundamental catalyst behind this. Inovio tanks 39% after pausing coronavirus vaccine trial. Trading halted. So trading halted, you never want to see that. Very dangerous, but again, we will get into that on the charts. So for this, we will just go over some of the key points here, solid key points, just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. And as I was doing more digging, I decided that this is actually the article I want to read through with you guys. Okay, so there's a lot of good points in here. I want to just read through this with you guys and really get a good understanding of what happened here. But again, I do just want to talk to you guys, as I said in the beginning, about what impact this has on the rest of the sector. Because remember, you guys, this is a race. These are competitors at the same time. And as I've been saying for a long time now, the further we get into the development of a successful and efficacious vaccine amongst these companies, because it is a race. And like I've been saying for a long time, it's like we've been saying for a long time, like we've discussed before, the first mover advantage is significant, and over the short term it's very significant, but long term I do still believe that these companies, these smaller companies like Inovio, Novavax, VXRT, do have a shot at being successful. But until we get that first vaccine, I think that news is going to be very crucial in the short term. So keep in mind, you guys, that's kind of the silver lining here. Long term, I think a lot of these companies have, like Inovio, for example, and what we're talking about right now, I think Inovio specifically has a lot of potential long term. But short term, until a company like Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson establishes an efficacious vaccine, because they're significantly further along, especially when stuff like this happens to Inovio, then you really have to be careful with these more speculative, more kind of long-term plays that are further behind in the development of a vaccine. Okay, so as always, you guys, before we get into it, I would appreciate it if you gave the video a like if you do gain value from it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this, and of course, check out my complete portfolio if you want to know how I'm specifically trading not only the biotech sector, but literally my entire portfolio. So precious metals, gold, silver, literally tech, everything. And along with that, I do send out a newsletter every trading day during market hours, talking about the trades I made that day, as well as just my thoughts on the markets as a whole, not only equities, but again, precious metals, cryptocurrencies, whatever you guys are into. So check that out. First link in the description if you guys are interested. If not, no worries. That said, let's get into it. So again, you guys, we'll actually cover technicals last, always establish the fundamentals first. So let's go over some of these key points. Inovio Pharmaceuticals tumbled as much as 39% on Monday after the biotech firm announced a temporary hold on its mid to late stage trial of a coronavirus vaccine. Inovio said the trial is on partial clinical hold until it answers questions from the FDA, which it plans to do in October. News of the study's halt triggered a trading pause of Inovio shares before the opening bell. Again, it tanked so hard after hours, or pre-market, I'm sorry. Crucially, the hold isn't related to an adverse effect, and Inovio's phase 1 trial is still moving forward. So that's good news right there. In itself, again, that's kind of another just kind of like light in the darkness in terms of Inovio, is that it wasn't an adverse effect. The FDA just had some questions and concerns around I believe the method of delivery, which we'll go into in this article right here. So just to give you guys an idea, Inovio nothing happened. No one popped up another head or something, but the FDA just has a little more questions for Inovio before they proceed. So this, again, great article by Bill Alpert of Barron's. The technology used by Inovio Pharmaceuticals for its experimental vaccine against COVID-19 is distinct from its better-known rivals. On Monday, Inovio said that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration had put the company's vaccine trial on hold until the company resolves the agency's questions about Inovio's vaccine technology. Inovio, ticker INO, had guided investors who expect it would start its phase 3 trial in September, so that's a little shady, joining other developers who are already in that final stretch of clinical validation. Pfizer in team with biotech, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca. Now, Inovio said it hopes to get a response to the FDA in October, after which the agency will have 30 days to tell if the company may proceed. So this is this is a big speed bump for Inovio, and it's a bummer. And again, you guys, I want to reiterate this. I don't think that Inovio is done for good. This is very short-term bearish, But again, I do think we've covered Inovio a lot in the past, which is a big reason I'm also making this video today, is because we've talked so much about Inovio. I think Inovio has a lot of potential in the long term, but the short term is still very sketchy in my opinion. News of the held up trial knocked Inovio stock down 27% by mid-afternoon to 1244 in an otherwise rising stock market. The company announcement said only that the FDA had additional questions about the planned trial, including the questions about Inovio's proprietary inoculating device, an electronic system that opens up pores on the skin to deliver a relatively large payload of the company's vaccine. So if you guys remember, if you guys watched my Inovio analysis months ago now, you would know that the way they plan on delivering this vaccine is very interesting. It kind of looks like a, man, I don't even know what it looks like. Just go look it up. Go look up a picture of it. But it's interesting. It's not like a traditional kind of just needle like what you'd expect when you picture taking a vaccine. It's kind of cool looking, to be honest. And it is, I do believe it looks pretty cutting edge to me. But obviously, if it's not that traditional method of injecting a vaccine, it makes sense that the FDA would want to know a little more about that. Like Moderna's and BioNTech's, Inovio's vaccine inserts genetic instructions into our cells to get them to exude a protein found in the coronavirus, thereby rising an immune response that will guard against the real virus. But Moderna and BioNTech use the handier genetic molecule called RNA, while Inovio uses the more cumbersome DNA. One of the big COVID vaccine trials, that of AstraZeneca, remains on hold in the U.S. after one participant showed worrisome symptoms. But Inovio says the FDA's concern wasn't prompted by any adverse effects in the phase 1 trial of its COVID vaccine. The result of that first Inovio study showed good safety and hints of effectiveness. In addition to resolving the FDA questions, Inovio will need to find money for its COVID vaccine pivotal trial, which this is pretty bad news too, to be honest. Other vaccine developers are enrolling tens of thousands of volunteers in their phase 3 trials and have received hundreds of millions of dollars, billions even, from the government and industry partners. Inovio has reported less than $20 million in grants and has $372 million in cash on its balance sheet as of June's end. Its Monday announcement said that it would need external funding to conduct the phase 3 trial. So this is bad. Not only is this speed bump obviously bad for the speed, for the progression of Inovio on a time horizon perspective, but they're running out of money. They're bleeding cash, and they can't even go into phase 3s unless they have external funding, like from the government, like with Moderna, like so many of these, even Novavax, they've got external funding from the government directly through Operation Warp Speed. And Inovio, now that this happened, it is extremely unlikely, in my opinion, that they do get accepted into Operation Warp Speed, at least again until their studies can keep moving forward. So this is a bummer. This is a big bummer for Inovio. Finish it off here and then we'll move on to the charts. Monday's spill in Inovio stock prompted Maxim Group analyst Jason McCarthy to raise his rating from a buy to a hold. His rating had gone in the opposite direction in July after excitement about the vaccine lifted the stock above $30 and valued the development stage company at more than $4 billion. His July 1st downgrade had concluded that the COVID opportunity was priced into the stock. 100% agree, but it's significantly lower than that now. Again, a high of $30, it's a bummer to see Inovio at $10 right now, but that's what happens in this sector, you guys. That's what happens when you're racing towards something and the speculation becomes more reality. Now he says the FDA trial holdup will prove temporary. He thinks the stock could rise again to $20. McCarthy's enthusiasm isn't universally shared. Over nearly 2 decades, Inovio has burned through about $1 billion without bringing a product to market. Very bad sign. COVID isn't his main interest in the company. However, he's betting that the company will succeed in delivering treatments for several kinds of cancer caused by viruses, with data on those treatments due around the start of 2021. So remember, you guys, like we've been saying so many times with these biotech companies, they're obviously all working on COVID. That is their kind of claim to fame in 2020, obviously for good reason, but they're all working on very good things as well, like Sorrento, for example. We always talk about Sorrento's cancer arm, and they've had very promising things happen in regard to their cancer studies and whatnot, and their cancer products. But COVID, obviously, that's just at the top of everyone's mind right now in terms of biotech, and it's not looking good in that realm for Inovio right now. So that said, that's that. Let's take a look at the charts quick. Again, this is on the 5 minutes, so this is just today. You can see this crazy gap down. So kicked off the morning at about $17, or ended Friday, closed out Friday at about $17. Gapped all the way down to almost $10 today. So again, a 47% tank, halted trading. But you can see over the course of the day, it actually jumped up. So from a low of $10 around market open, it popped back up to $14. So that's some crazy price swings when you're talking. Obviously, it's not much dollars, but percentage gain or percentage change is what matters. So that's a very from $10 to like almost $14. You're looking at some fluctuation right there. So crazy there. Let's zoom out because that's what really matters to me. You guys know that if you watch any of my videos. So let's take a look. Let's zoom out here. Let's make this look a little crazy. Let's just look at the dailies. So really zooming out. Again, you guys, Inovio peaked super hard. This was peak speculation within the vaccine sector. So peaked at $34 on one day. So again, it's a bummer to see Inovio tank, but again, you guys, that's what happens when these companies unfortunately it's hype. There's a lot of speculation involved in the sector. That's why I keep saying that's why Moderna is the horse I've chosen in this sector, is because they've proven themselves to be competent. They're one of the leaders because they're one of the only 4 companies in phase 3s. They're actually the first company in phase 3s. So again, you guys, the further we get into the development of a successful vaccine, the more short-term dangerous these become in my mind. And I will use the word dangerous because of exactly what happened today. The more dangerous these smaller companies, even Novavax, definitely VXRT still sketches me out, to be completely honest. Get more sketchy in the short term. So long term, again, man, it's tough to say if this is priced in or not yet, because again, this really does slow down Inovio. And again, the FDA, they still have to get the response to them. The FDA still has to process it, get them their response before they can even continue phase 1s. The phase 3 isn't looking good because they do need external funding. If the FDA takes a look at them and says, hey, maybe this looks great, this is very promising, and then it actually ends up being good for Inovio because the FDA did some digging and realized that it was actually a very good method or something like that. And then maybe they get inducted into Operation Warp Speed and get that funding they need. But short term, very sketchy. We might see a bounce just because the move was so significant down, like a 40% move down might warrant a bounce over the course of the week. I'd be surprised if Inovio doesn't close the week higher than it is right now. But again, you guys, I can't say I'm bullish on Inovio right now. But I do think that if you're looking for a long-term play, like a very long-term play, then Inovio might be your best bet. Because again, they're still working on it. Maybe it could work. The FDA, if everything goes accordingly, the FDA gets them through, they get funding. I think Inovio could definitely be worth more than it is right now. But short term sketches me out, again, until we see one of these larger companies like Moderna, like BioNTech, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, whoever it may be, establish a vaccine, then I am unfortunately bearish on everything but one of those top 4. And again, you guys, I want to make this very clear. Moderna is my horse in this race. I'm going with Moderna, and we'll see how that goes. So as always, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you were holding Inovio prior to this, so I can give you some sympathy and try to comfort you a little bit. But again, you guys, if you were, it happens. Just keep your head up and just keep moving forward. Learn from this. Learn what happens when I mean, it's good. It builds thick skin, right? You get punched in the face, you get back up even stronger. So keep your head up, you guys. Try to stay motivated and understand this is a very long game. So don't dwell on it. Learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. Okay, so I appreciate you guys watching. Again, drop a comment down below. Always love talking to you guys. Always love learning from you guys. So I'll catch you downstairs. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.